I don't know why I stopped the video. Oh, okay, I stopped the video so I could check the text messages. I remember texting him around 8:30, and I was saying I'd would like to take the kids to church, and he said morning. We will not be going to your church. I will be taking them to church. But he ain't gone to church in like 4 or 5 years, and so I just didn't believe that. I was just like, you, since when? I was like, you don't even know a church to that you would. I know you don't. I know you're not a member. I know you don't go to church. So anyway, I was just like, what? Stop. And then he said, but I was like, why are you trying to keep me with the kid? Keep me away from the kids? It's been a whole week. Why wouldn't you just agree to this? What is your deal? Why do you feel like you're an authority figure over our children? How is it that I'm having to ask you, and I'm working and I'm being compliant with staying away or whatever, and here you are now when I'm saying, hey, this is what I would like to know, I'm posing you to you, you're just like, no, we're going to go to our own church. Here you are, but yet you're telling the children that I'm abandoning them, but when I make requests, let me come and see them, let me spend time with them, then you're like, no. You don't understand what you're doing. You don't understand what you're doing. You're not working with me. I'm trying to work with you. I'm literally saying, let me spend time with them. And you're like, no, we're going to go to my own church. He said, but you can go to the park with them a little later on in the afternoon. I said, okay. Well, let me go to the church with them. I said, okay. And I just was like, oh, and I just sat on the bed, and my son called me. And he said, Mommy, sometimes Daddy takes us to somebody's house and he keeps us there until it's nighttime, and then he comes and picks us up, and there's the two guys that are bullying us. They're big kids and they're bullying us, and then when Daddy comes and picks us up, I tell him that, but he's just trying to hurry up and get us in the car. I was like, really? I said, thank you for sharing that. And I stay on the phone. I grab my keys and I drive straight to my house. I was like, what? Like, what? And I drove and I parked right behind the garage, and the garage door was coming up. And he was trying to leave with the kids, and they were like, Mommy. I was like, hey, babies. And these are the children that came out from my womb. And I'm just like, hey, babies. And so he's like, I'm like, I'll get in the car with you guys. And he's just like, no, you cannot. And so I'm just like, okay, fine, I'll follow you guys behind. And he's just like, I don't know what kind of games you're trying to play. I'm like, how? He's projecting. So he'll say things that he's doing and say that I'm saying them. And so when I'm using wisdom, I realize that I shouldn't even have to respond back to things that he's saying, accusations or whatever, because I'm not doing what he's seeing is within him. So I drive and I follow him, and then they go, I thought he was going to church, but these kids look like they've been wearing these clothes for a little while, and because I can see their meals on their clothes, and so they go to the park or whatever, and I just get out the car and I start playing with them or whichever, and it's cold, and so one of my sons got shorts on and my daughter got a dress on, and we shaking, and she trying to stay in the non-shaded area so that she can get some kind of warmth, and I'm like, we can go home and I'm gonna follow you there. And they're like, no, can you just play with us? And I was like, okay. Yeah, so we kept playing, and we started racing, and they were like, no, I really want you to go down this. I've never gotten out of side with them before. I don't even be on the mulch. I don't be on the pebbles. I'm always by the bench every time I take them to the park, but or the playground. And so, but they were like, can you do this? And I was just like, okay. And so they just did a lot of hugging, and they're probably just like, I don't know when we're gonna hug you again, but I was just like, I'll hug. So we hugged. Then it got to where we went back, and I followed him. They were leaving, so I followed him, and he went back to some gas station, get something, and then I followed him to Brahms. He picked up some food for them, and then I followed him to try to go some back street, but maybe he normally does that. I followed him back to the house, and my daughter opened up, and I was like, good. So I stepped in the house, but then I was just like, I'm super nervous here because I don't know if you're finna start something or whatever, and then be like, you're doing this. And I'm just like, I'm really not doing anything, but you perceiving that I'm trying to do something. So my daughter let me in, but I started, my brother was texting me. He was just like, hey, you in Carrollton or are you in Dallas? And I'm just like, I'm in Dallas. I'm actually back in my house or whatever. He's like, okay, I was trying to go to our big sister's house. You want to go with me? I was just like, nah, I actually just made it into my house here in Dallas. And so he was just like, oh, okay, you want me to come over? I was just like, I was texting back. I was just like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And then, he was, my husband was just like, what are you doing here? And so I was like, I'm just here. And I started checking out my daughter's hair. She looked like I had just did her hair almost 2 weeks ago. And so she just hadn't been covering it. So when you don't cover it, the hair will come out of the braids and just look, it was really unkept. And I was just like, you do have a mother. So I'm going to take down your hair. We washed it and I redid her hair, but with braids, not with her natural hair, so that it could last long, because I didn't know what was going to happen. Woo, Jesus. And so when I tell you I was tense, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was gonna go on, but I wanted to be in the house. If he's gonna take these kids anywhere, these are my kids. I am their advocate. You can't just try to keep them somewhere so that I can't see them. Who are you, dude? Who are you? And nobody's gonna, say that he's kidnapping, because those are his children. He's just trying to keep them away from me. So that's, for whatever reason, I'm talking to the police, and they're just like, that's not a crime. So I'm putting myself here in this house, and he's just like, what are you doing? He's trying to, how you gonna ask me? My name on this lease. So, but I still kept quiet. I'm drunk here in this video, but I just kept quiet or whatever. But if you leaving here with these kids, I'm following you out. He didn't go anywhere. So my brother's like, I'll come over there. I was just like, I really don't think it's a good time or whatever. And I told him that my husband's acting up. And so he was just like, oh, I'll come over there. Because then we can go together to Little Elm. I was like, I'm not going to Little Elm. So he came over. When he came over, he kind of came upstairs, because I stayed upstairs with with my children. And then when he came up, my husband was downstairs, and then he came upstairs and was just yelling while me and my brother were in there. And he was just like, my husband was like, oh, so you're going to call your little brother? Why you call your little brother? So you can call the police? And I was like, and I kept quiet. And my youngest brother tried to call my other brother, even though he's Houston based, he tried to call him. And I tried to call him too, and put him on Duo, which is like where he may not be able to see me because my phone, he wouldn't have been able to see me because my phone was facing my computer, but I wanted him to hear what I'm experiencing, because I'm just feeling like y'all think I'm exaggerating, and this guy needs to just calm down. How you gonna antagonize me? But how you gonna work with me to sign the lease? How you gonna work with me to get these bills paid? But then I can't be in the house. I'm trying to figure that out. That's not something we discussed. And so I started calling all my aunts and uncles or whatever. And I was like, y'all need to, if you've ever said you love me, I'm finna message you. So I messaged all my cousins. I was like, hey, give me your mom number, because I'm finna call and start texting them or whatever. And I need them to give me permission to call their husbands. I need them to come into this house and put the same kind of pressure he putting on me, that he need to have it back on him, because he must think I'm an orphan. And if I am an orphan, I am letting my, it should be known to my immediate family members, no longer, but now to extended family members, get involved here. This guy threatening me and badgering me in our shared house, and making me feel like I really don't belong here. I shouldn't be here. I need to have some place to go. But where was all that anger and animosity toward me when you needed me to sign the lease? When you needed food in the fridge? When I was delivering your babies? What is your deal? You coming in and out of rationale. And I'm sick of his inconsistency and his threats. So when I started texting all my aunts and telling them all this, I was actually sending them videos of him hollering at me. And they was like, whoa, what's your mama thinking? I was like, my mama mad because she feel like I'm leaving my kids behind. I was like, I leave my kids behind. They not being tortured. And I'm right here in my house right now, so I don't know what the deal is. Why my mom is calling and sending me messages that she want me separated from my children. She gonna call CPS, and that I don't deserve children. She is what? Why are you seeing the situation like that? You separated from your husband, but now you mad at me because I'm trying to leave and ask for you to come intervene on my behalf. You done did the worst. You done already separate. You got your own place. that was so silly. But ooh, it's 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. But I want to talk about the response that I got back from my aunts, my uncles, and I have a meeting with my church. But I have no hope in anyone except what God opens up the door for me through access and through connection and just through His favor that He decides for me to have at this moment, at this time, in this situation. I'll pause here.